pale dawn rises over the frostbitten plains of the Eastern Front. Out of the low fog emerges a solitary shape, steel gray, angular, deliberate. The Panzer III advances, its tracks grinding through the frozen soil, its crew tense and silent. In that instant, time seems to hold its breath. The tank is neither the largest nor the most famous of the war's steel beasts, but it is one of the most enduring. It will cross deserts, forests, and cities, always adapting, never quite obsolete, a symbol of methodical German engineering and evolving doctrine. How did this unassuming machine become the backbone of early Blitzkrieg and a foundation for armored warfare as we know it? If stories like this intrigue you, like and subscribe. More gripping tales from history await. The Panzerkampfwagen III, or Panzer III, was born from an idea as much as from metal. In the early 1930s, as Germany quietly rearmed, its military planners envisioned a new type of warfare, one defined by speed, coordination, and mechanization. A tank was needed that could engage enemy armor head-on, complement lighter reconnaissance tanks, and work seamlessly within combined arms formations. Development began in 1934 under the German Army's Ordnance Department, WW6. Competing firms, Daimler-Benz, MAN, and Krupp among them, produced prototypes. The Daimler-Benz design, practical and robust, won approval. The early models, OSFA through D, appeared by 1937, each improving suspension, transmission, and crew ergonomics. These early vehicles carried a 37mm KWK-36 gun, sufficient against interwar tanks, and armor up to 30mm thick. When the Wehrmacht invaded Poland in 1939, only a limited number of Panzer IIIs were available. Still, they represented an evolution. A tank with a 5-man crew, allowing the commander to focus entirely on battlefield awareness, rather than multitasking as gunner or loader. This human-centered design philosophy would influence tank development worldwide. As production increased, new versions appeared, AOSF, E, F, and G, featuring thicker armor and a redesigned torsion bar suspension. The Panzer III, though not the strongest on paper, was becoming a reliable core unit. Its significance lay in balance, mobility, firepower, and communication, all integrated for coordinated offensives. War accelerates invention. When the Panzer III faced French Char B1s and British Matildas in 1940, its 37mm gun proved underpowered. Engineers reacted swiftly, installing the 50mm KWK-38L/42 gun in subsequent variants. By 1941, armor thickness had doubled, reaching 50mm on key surfaces. The Panzer III Ausf H, J, and later L models also featured new spaced armor, a primitive form of modular defense against anti-tank rounds. But the battlefield evolved faster. When Germany invaded the Soviet Union in June 1941, the encounter with T-34s and KV-1s was a shock. Their sloped armor and high-velocity guns rendered many Panzer IIIs ineffective. In response, the Germans introduced the longer 50mm KWK-39L60 gun, offering improved penetration. The tank's design, with a roomy turret and adaptable chassis, made such retrofitting feasible, prolonging its frontline life. By 1942, the Panzer III's days as a premier battle tank were waning. Yet its versatility made it invaluable. Its chassis served as the base for numerous variants, command tanks, Panzerbefehlswagen III, recovery vehicles, flame tanks, and, most notably, the Sturmgeschütz III, or StuG III assault gun. The StuG, initially designed for infantry support, became one of Germany's most produced and effective armored vehicles, often surpassing the tank it descended from in both firepower and armor. The Panzer III thus became not only a fighting machine, but a flexible platform, a foundation for adaptation. Even as newer tanks like the Panzer IV and Panther took over offensive roles, the Panzer III continued to serve with quiet dependability. From the Blitzkrieg across Europe to the sands of North Africa, the Panzer III proved itself through consistency. In France, it spearheaded armored thrusts that shattered static defenses, exploiting gaps faster than adversaries could react. During these campaigns, communication and coordination, aided by onboard radios, rare in Allied tanks at the time, gave German crews a tactical edge. On the Eastern Front, the Panzer III fought in every major operation from Barbarossa onward. Its agility and reliability made it a mainstay of panzer divisions in 1941 and 1942. In the vast plains of Russia, it could still maneuver effectively, flanking Soviet formations or supporting infantry assaults. Yet by the Battle of Kursk, 1943, the balance had shifted. Soviet designs had advanced, and the Panzer III's 50mm gun struggled even at close range. Crews adapted by aiming for tracks, rear armor, or acting in support of heavier vehicles. In North Africa, under Rommel's Afrika Korps, the Panzer III found new life. Desert warfare rewarded mechanical dependability, and the tank's efficient cooling system and fuel economy proved valuable. Many were upgraded with dust filters, wider tracks, and reinforced suspensions for sandy terrain. In these campaigns, the Panzer III was perhaps at its zenith, maneuverable, adaptable, and trusted. By 1944, however, the tank's role had shifted. It was relegated to training duties, occupation forces, and reserve formations. Still, wherever it operated, crews appreciated its stability, balanced handling, and ease of maintenance. Even opponents, after capturing one, often remarked on its engineering precision. In retrospect, the Panzer III was never the mightiest tank, but few machines illustrate the evolution of armored warfare so completely. Against the Soviet T-34, it was outmatched in raw numbers and innovation. Against the British Churchill, it lacked sheer protection. Against the American Sherman, it fell short in firepower. Yet, in 1939 to 42, it embodied the ideal of balance that made Blitzkrieg possible. Its 5-man crew arrangement became a standard that influenced tank ergonomics globally. Its modular chassis allowed unprecedented versatility. Over 10,000 StuG III alone would use its frame. Its mechanical systems, particularly transmission and suspension, informed later designs like the Panther. Even after the war, captured Panzer IIIs found their way into service with countries such as Romania, Bulgaria, Finland, and Syria. In engineering terms, the Panzer III's significance lies in adaptability. It bridged the conceptual gap between early light tanks and later heavy armor. It demonstrated that battlefield success is as much about logistics, crew training, and maintainability as about armor thickness or gun caliber. The Panzer III was, above all, dependable, a rare quality in wartime innovation. The Panzer III's legacy endures not because of glory, but because of purpose. It was never a symbol of dominance, but of endurance, a vehicle that evolved with necessity, served beyond its limits, and laid groundwork for generations of armored design. Its story invites reflection. Progress rarely arrives in leaps, but in steady refinements. The Panzer III's engineers and crews worked within constraints, learning through adaptation. That quiet pragmatism, the willingness to modify, to persist, remains a timeless lesson far beyond the battlefield. As history moves forward, machines like the Panzer III remind us that innovation is not always about building something new, but about making something lasting. If you enjoyed this story, leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss more stories from the past that continue to shape our understanding of endurance, design, and history itself.